Okay guys, Richard again, SBTA, lead trainer, Sydney Business Travel Academy, in our beautiful commercial kitchens. Today, we're going to make some bread. Very simple, very easy, and good chance to get some muscles up. So what we have here, like our pasta when we made our pasta, we're using strong flour. So we get a nice strong loaf of bread that we have. But first of all we need to whisk 500 grams of plain flour, 7 grams of fresh yeast, and 5 grams of salt. Salt just gives that a little bit of a kick and a bit of a help. So like our pasta flour, we just do a little bit at a time. Incorporate all those ingredients, take out all those lumps. Doesn't take long, but your final product, you'll get a nicer, fluffier piece of bread if we let this flour get aerated and stuff what we're doing right now. So it just changes the whole complexion of the flour. Gives it some air and some bodies, and once again we've got a couple of stream that we don't want in there. Like our pasta, dry ingredients, 350 mils of lukewarm water. When I mean lukewarm water, it's warm to the touch. It's not cold, it's not boiling hot, but it's about room temperature. About 35 degrees in some places. All the water goes straight into our mix. All of it. Measure correctly, we'll have our ratios right. Slowly incorporate our flour, our yeast and our salt with our lukewarm water. What we need to do is form a nice, beautiful dough, trying not to get flour everywhere. Like our pasta dough, it's going to be a bit messy, okay? But our kitchens here at SBTA are designed for plenty of room to do all this sort of work with our doughs. So there's our dough, very quickly brought together, okay? So now I just need to start forming a paste. Trying not to add too much more flour to it because I don't want it too dry, but I want the moisture in there. So I'm just turning and kneading with the base of my hand. Okay? All this stuff here, put it all in there because that's got that yeast and all our ingredients in there. If you like, shake your hands like that. Comes off, push your dough into it. Then we're rolling. And what we need to do here, this is called kneading. What we're doing is stretching the gluten, giving it some body, let it pull and come back together. So we knead this for about 10 or 15 minutes. This is where I was saying that you're going to get some muscle work going. What we need to do, once this is done, put it back into our bowl that we had. And keep kneading it, using those nice strong hand muscles that you've developed. So now we're going to start getting a nice thing, nice sort of round, raw dough. So what we need to do now is put it in a covered container and prove it until it doubles in size. So we're just going to go on and do that right now. Okay, so we continue kneading. We've been doing this for about 10 minutes. It probably feels like about an hour. Your hands are probably as tired as they probably can get, but that's okay. You just keep going. You won't need to go to the gym this week. So now we've kneaded this to a beautiful, nice, soft dough. It's nice and firm. It's not too dry. And there's still, you can feel the moisture. So we get our bowl, we dust it with a bit of flour. Because when this dough rises, we don't want it to stick to the bowl. We want it to actually not be able to grip anything and just keep rising. The longer it rises, the nice lighter bread that we have. So we get our nice dough, pop it into our bowl, our floured bowl. We get a nice little bit of paper to keep the air out. We'll seal that up. We seal it up nice and tight, okay? Because we don't want any air getting there because we do not want a crust on top of our bread. So we want the bread to start steaming a little bit. And when this bread rises to double its size, which is that size there, it will double in size. Once we have that, we'll be able to then make our bread and bake our bread off with that. Okay guys, my bread dough, miraculously, fantastically doubled in size, nice and light and airy. So now I've cut it in half. And what I want to make today is what is called a baguette. Nice and long and thin, and probably the easiest thing to make. So we have a nice soft dough, lightly floured bench. So we just want to roll it. Okay, keep nice even strokes. Notice it's nice and elastic. You can stretch it out a little bit like that. Keep a little bit of flour on there, okay? You don't want it sticky to the bench. We roll it out to the size we're after. And I think that's a good enough size. We pop it onto our pre-greased tray. And we have it sitting there. Now what we need to do again is let this double in size now. So we need that yeast to be activating and light and putting air pockets into our bread and making it nice and light and fluffy. So we sit that there, put a little bit of water on it if you need to, just to stop it from drying out. It will double in size. Okay, done. Second proving of our bread done. A nice skinny baguette before is doubled in size, nice and formed shape. We've put a little bit of water on it to keep it a little bit moist so it doesn't dry out. Now, before we bake it, we need to get a little bit of an egg wash, which is just one plain egg cracked. And we break it up with our brush. And we're just going to put the egg wash on top. So what this is going to do is going to give us a nice glaze on our bread roll. So when it bakes, it's going to get a nice brown top to it. So we cover it all over there. You know, be a bit liberal with it, don't be shy. Stick it all on there, and done. Sit that there. And what we need to do is go and put this in the oven and make ourselves some hot bread. So what we need to do, we open it up. We don't go straight into the heat, because if we open it straight up, there's a big blast of 200-degree heat coming onto us. So the safety feature on this oven is that it allows the heat to escape before we can put anything in there. So we open it right up, we'll get it onto a tray, and in she goes. Preheated oven to 200 degrees. Always preheat your oven, guys, so we can put our bread into a very hot oven. And off we go. Preset to the timer we need it, it will cook, and we'll come back in 12 minutes and we'll have a golden brown loaf of bread. Okay guys, not far away from a golden brown loaf of bread, fantastically baked. We're going to head in the buzzer. And you see it now? There we are. That's the sound of golden bread in my world. We open it up, let the air come out. Don't put our head in there, we don't want to burn ourselves. We open up the oven, using a cloth. We're going to pull out our hot loaf of bread, nice and golden on top. And there we go. We're going to let that sit for a couple of minutes just to rest and just calm down a little bit before we cut it open and put some nice fresh ingredients on it. And that is our freshly baked baguette white rolls.